Welcome to episode 6 of Beyond the 90, Fox's podcast. Got another special guest with me today. Just want to welcome the usual guest first. Neil, welcome.
Thank you, James. Thanks for having me once again.
Right, you had a good week?
Yeah, not bad. Well, it's good at Cranby under quarantine.
Yep, and we've got Ant with us as well.
Hi, James. How are you getting on, mate?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. And we've got Doug from the Dugout channel. Welcome, Doug.
Thank you very much for having me, James, and always a pleasure to help out fellow fans. And it's actually nice to actually meet you face to face as well.
You too, mate. So obviously got a Liverpool fan there, so no doubt there'll be some title talk in this show as well. Because obviously us three know what it's like to win a title.
Just before we started.
Right, so let's start with what we always do, transfer rumours. The Chilwell. Obviously there's mixed reviews within the Leicester fan base whether he should stay or go. So Chelsea want him, now Man City want him as well. So I'm not sure. He's not been the best for us last season, but I'm not sure if he's got his head turned, if I'm perfectly honest. I'm not sure he's always got an eye on a big move. So I'm not sure what your views are on it, Neil. I'll start with you. What do you think?
I think this was part of the rumours I think we were mentioning a couple of podcasts ago about him, the reason why he got into trouble, him and Chowdhury a few games back, and they were both dropped. So because they were talking about a move. I think he will go. I think it's just a matter of time now. He's been in one space for a long period of time. Him getting into the England squad has been a massive deal, I think, for us as Leicester fans, and also just him and his own personal career. But I think he will probably move on in the summer and he'll probably go to Chelsea. They've got a lot of money to spend. They've got, since they sold last season, they didn't sign anybody. So now there's their time to build into that squad. Now they've spent money on, I think that Werner's coming to them. I think we'll get onto in a bit. And I think he'll end up going there. But we've just got to get a decent replacement in that left back position because it's a position, if Fuchs does leave, then we are really weak in that position.
Okay. What about you, Ant? Any views? I know your views on Chilwell, but what about the transfer?
For me, as you say, he's not been particularly special this season, particularly with the season we've had. He's been the one player you could look at and say you really haven't hit the heights that you're capable of. And as you say, I think his head has been turned since about January when there was rumours then, and he's played like it. So if we get an offer of around 50 million plus, I think we've got to take it.
Yeah, I think you're right. Makes sense. Doug, any views from an outsider? Obviously, you've seen him play a few times.
I actually think Chilwell he's been okay. He hasn't been great this season, but would he want to go on the bench at Manchester City, or would he want to be first teamer at Chelsea? Now, I think he would probably want to be a first teamer at Chelsea. However, the reason I say that the reason I say sort of a bench warmer is that City have got Zinchenko, they've got Mendy, but they are really needing fullbacks again. I think I can't actually remember the last time that City went through 3 seasons with fullbacks. It's really, really crazy. But I just think that Chilwell would get more first-team games at Chelsea than he would have gotten at Man City.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think the way Man City as well are set up, they do a lot of squad rotation in most of their positions. So you can't see him starting every single game. Now, would you want to go for a big money move and sit on the bench for 40% of your time there? Probably not. Whereas Chelsea is going to slot straight into that left position and start week in, week out, let's be honest. Okay.
Yeah, I think...
Go on, Doug. Sorry.
Yeah, carry on, Doug.
No, I think, like I said, I think if you get 80 million for him, which is the rumoured, price that Leicester are wanting, I think you've done really, really well, and it's another case of, selling another very, very good player who's obviously talented. Obviously, I think he'll probably be sort of first choice left back for, England at the Euros whenever that will be. But if you can get 80 million, you can get a very good replacement in there. So it'll be very interesting to see where he goes. But for me, I think he should go to Chelsea.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. So we tried to find some Liverpool transfer rumours. The only one we could find was obviously Werner was supposed to go there, apparently agreed terms, but maybe not going. I saw today that Liverpool never actually put a bid in for him. Chelsea want him. I think they're trying to get the deal done before the 15th because obviously Werner's release clause expires on the 15th. So if they buy him today, it's 57 million euros. If we buy him after the 15th, God knows what it could be.
Yeah.
So I think as a Liverpool fan, would you want him? Is that what the Liverpool fan base wanted?
I mean, I have had so much drama on my Twitter timeline from like FSG outers, and like I literally like put them to the test the other day because I was like, why are you wanting our owners out when basically they've brought Klopp into the club, they've just seen us win a Champions League, we're going to win the Premier League title. I honestly think the Werner deal for me, obviously we furloughed our staff very, very recently, so I think it would have really looked bad on the club if we had paid that kind of money towards Timo Werner. Did I want Werner? Yes, absolutely. You know, I think he's a definite upgrade on Origi. You know, he's a definite upgrade on Shaqiri as well. So I think we do need more sort of strength and depth, but I do understand the fact that we are going to look like not spending any money because of obviously the virus and all that. But I'm one that doesn't get dragged into transfer rumours, so I probably not read a paper for about 6 months, in all honesty. So I'm not one that gets dragged into transfer rumours. So I'm not too surprised he's not coming. But I've read from various sort of Twitter pages that apparently Red Bull Leipzig came out and said that no deal's done. So it's turning out to be the transfer saga of the summer so far.
There's always one.
Yeah.
Every single year, there's always one. So going on to other transfer rumours, Van der Beek going to Man United. I heard that Madrid had already agreed personal terms before COVID kicked in Spain. Now there's doubt that he'll go there, and I think a lot of the United fans would like to see him at United. He's a box-to-box midfielder. I kind of think if you've got Fernandes, Pogba, where's he going to play?
I could be in anticipation of Pogba leaving, though, looking at replacements already.
So while you're on Ant, do you want to give your views on him, if you know about him?
I don't watch much of him, to be honest, but he's clearly highly rated.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think if Madrid want him, then he's going to be a class act, isn't he? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Madrid need to start strong. So, Doug, any views on Van der Beek? I've not really seen much of him.
He's a great player. He's a great player. You know, Ajax has done really, really well this season. Obviously, because of the season being obviously voided, etc. Then obviously, he's obviously not got any football to play. But Van der Beek reminds me a lot of Aaron Ramsey a little bit. Very, very good box-to-box midfielder. And I agree with Ant. It could be the anticipation of Pogba leaving. However, I don't see anyone affording Paul Pogba in this window because of what Raiola will want to, you know, get so much money for him. So yeah. I don't think Pogba will leave Manchester United. So, you know, it's adding to more of the midfield options. I think it would spell the end for sort of Lingard, Pereira, those kind of players. But I don't think Man United fans would be too happy to see the back of them either. So I think Van de Beek would definitely improve their midfield for sure. But it does beg the question, will they be able to get Sancho as well? And I don't think they could get both. So there's a decision to be made, I think.
Yeah, and I think surely that decision's Sancho every day of the week.
Also, he's been rumoured every day of the week as well.
Yeah, English midfielder that's playing the way he's playing. I saw that last weekend there was a rumour that Chelsea had got a £70 million bid rejected for him. So I think if he does come to England, you're probably looking at 90 to 100 million. Are United going to pay that unless they get rid of Pogba, that is?
Also, something that I've thought about as well is that he's come from Manchester City. So would he travel across to go to Man United? Like, that seems that the fans will not be happy. And there's some players that won't go ahead with that.
No, he seems like leaving to go to Germany at such a young age to prove himself to go get game time. He seems like he'll be someone who he'll go where's best for him, and I don't think he'll be too concerned what other people think. Because he looks very, from what I've seen of his interviews and stuff, he
Yeah.
seems very much his head's down and he's focused on his career, not sort of on of the outside and what others are thinking.
Yeah, possibly. So I'm not sure where the best fit for him would be. Would it be Chelsea? Would it be United? I think end of the season depends who's in that third or fourth spot. Obviously, we're up there as well.
Well, we got a gaping hole on the right wing, haven't we? So he could do a job for us.
That's sorted then. The last room I wanted to touch on, Adam Lallana. I've heard from a few people within the club that we really want Lallana. We need his Champions League experience. He's a great midfielder. So I'll start off with you, Doug. Lallana to Leicester. Great, probably a great signing for us, but is it a big loss for you?
I rated Lallana when he came to Liverpool. I won't lie. His future's, but his career's been really blighted by injuries, and he's not really got a consistent enough sort of run in the team. But I'll tell you something, you're getting a very hard-working player in Lallana. Obviously, he'll go out on a high, I think. Obviously, being a Champions League winner, and obviously, being a Premier League winner when it happens as well. I think Lallana would be a good fit, and obviously he's going back to Brendan Rodgers as well. So it's whether or not he can keep fit is the main thing. But I think you're getting a very good, hard-working player there. So I think it's a good deal for all parties.
Yeah, I think so. Neil, your views?
It'd be just a question for Doug as well. So we've got players like Yuri Tillemans and we've got James Maddison and that. How do you think Lallana could fit into more of a coaching role and get the best out of them kind of players? Because at the moment we've got a lot of young players in that cam position.
Well, he's in his mid-30s now, Lallana. So I think the experience in the dressing room will be very, very key. And yeah, he could become a coach, like a player coach. I think that'd be a very good idea for Lallana to obviously teach the like Tillemans and obviously Maddison. I think it'd be a very, very good idea, and I can see Rodgers definitely having him as a coach.
And your views on Lallana?
I feel like I'm going to be like I'm the odd one out here. I'm not a massive fan of this rumour. I think he's coming in and he's massively injury prone. He's declined massively over the last couple of years. And if you're going to have a player that you're going to depend on for squad depth, you can't have someone who's as injury prone as he is.
Okay, you mean someone like Matty James?
Yeah, exactly. But Matty James isn't going to be on the wages that Lallana's going to be on.
Yeah, you're probably right. One thing I will say about Leicester is I think the setup and in the background, we don't really have that many long-term injuries. I think they've got a great medical team. They seem to get people back from injury quite well. They seem to look after players. Maybe that's what Lallana needs, that kind of care and attention, rather than at a big club. There's quite a lot of players that they need to deal with. So maybe that will help us as well. But I understand what you're saying, and totally agree.
He's undoubtedly a good player when he plays. It's just how much of him will we actually get for the amount that we're going to have to pay his wages. And I think you were saying the other day, but it's not going to be like a 1-year contract. If he does sign, it'll be for a couple of years, which is what the reports are. Which, it's one of those. If it was a 1-year deal, I'd be much more sort of enthusiastic about it than if it's a couple of years.
Okay. Well, let's see what happens in the summer. And talking of the summer, so Premier League rumours are that the transfer window is going to be August to October. So I don't think there's been any announcement of when the next league season is going to start. So does that suggest that the next league season is going to start in October?
Probably. I don't like this idea whatsoever. I've always been a man that likes a transfer window sort of June to August. Making it August to October. Like if the season started in August, then you've got basically lots of teams that could lose lots of players until October. So I don't like this one bit. I think they should. Yes, obviously if it's just temporary, I will get that, but just don't change what's there. I would just keep it June to August, to be honest.
Neil, any views?
I get what Doug's saying, but at the same time, it's what we need to do just because of the situation we're in at the moment with the virus and everything that's going around. Things are shifting all over the place, and what they're going to try to do is they're trying to keep everything as safe as possible. Now, they've said last time that they're not going to extend it through, so the season's going to start when the transfer window ends. So we'll have to see what happens, but overall, I just think it will be a quiet one, I think, for a lot of people. Like, I think Man United came out and said they lost, the first team to come out and say they've lost 29 million or so. So even having it a shorter time would be better, just because they know a lot of deals aren't going to be done in this time. So overall, it will be a quiet one, but I think it'll be for the right reason. So when it is, we'll have to see. But I think if the season starts, that's the most important thing rather than the transfer window.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think also season's surely got to start before October, because they need to get the season finished before, because obviously we've got the Euros next year now. If they do bad, if we start the league in October and we do bad in the Euros, that'll be the thing that'll get blamed on. Will Scotland be there?
I would hope so. I mean, obviously we've got Israel and then potentially Norway or Russia or I think it's Slovenia or something. But yeah, the thought of Grant Hanley against Erling Haaland scares the life out.
Yeah, because he is scoring quite a lot lately, isn't he?
Yeah, so that would definitely really, really worry me if we did get Norway.
Right, moving on. Top 6. We're going to have to talk about this at some point. So Liverpool are obviously going to win the league. I know mathematically I keep saying that they might not win the league, but that would mean Liverpool would have to lose every single game from now on, and Man City would have to win every single game. So I think going on the season, obviously we had COVID, but going on the season before that, before we had the break, Liverpool deserved it hands down. Every single game I saw them play, they looked really good. Even when they played us, they looked like a great team. We gave it a all. There was obviously the Boxing Day massacre, which we won't talk about. But yeah, overall, I think Liverpool deserved it. Anyone that says they don't deserve it, I don't know if they're a proper football fan. And it's difficult to say why they don't deserve it. Hands on heart, we've given it our all as well. But we're just not going to catch the likes of Liverpool. They've had a great team. I saw today that Trent Alexander's the 4th most expensive player in the world now.
No.
So I think the thing what Klopp's done is he's built the team right. For me, as an outsider, he's built it right over 4 or 5 years. He's got the youngsters in, he's got the youngsters playing, he's given the youngsters chances, and now they're at the top of their game. And I think it's a credit to him what he's come in and done. I think probably as a Liverpool fan, you had a few years of, oh, not this again. Ever since the Gerrard slip incident, I think everyone thought that was going to be your chance. But a few years on, Klopp's rebuilt everything and seems to be done a good job. Premier League title nearly in the bag. What I think will be strange, though, is the night we won our title, obviously Chelsea drew with Spurs 2-2, and every single person that I knew, there was a Leicester fan, went down to the King Power that night to celebrate. Now, with these times that we're currently at, will the Liverpool fans go down to Anfield? Because I saw the other day that Klopp was saying we might have to do the victory parade next season.
Yeah, it's a good question. It's a good question. Like, I mean, going back to your title success, I was all for you guys winning the league. I was so tempted to put like a wee bet on Leicester. It's just because of Claudio Ranieri, and you know, I know that I know he wasn't the most popular choice at the time, but I tell you something, what a legend that guy is. I think the fans know what's happened with this virus, and I just don't see any. I can see a minority potentially maybe going down to the stadium, but yeah, it is going to be strange. I have read that if Man City draw with Arsenal, then we could win it at the Goodison. I don't know how true that is, but that would be absolutely amazing if we did it at the home or Goodison rivals. I just can't see it though, to be honest. But no, I think I totally appreciate you saying that we deserve it. I'm not a fan of giving out sort of leagues and relegations very early on. Like obviously in the Scottish League, that was given the Celtic were given the league, and obviously Hearts were relegated. So I'm not a fan of that. But for you to say that we deserve it, I totally agree. We've been the best team this season. And actually, for a long, long time, you guys were our biggest challengers to potentially winning the title again.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the only thing I will ask is don't parade the trophy around the stadium like Celtic did. It looked embarrassing. Even the players looked embarrassed. Obviously, someone's told them to do it, but they looked embarrassed themselves, and I think it was just a poor effort. And do Liverpool deserve the title?
Yeah, of course they do. They've been outstanding this year, and I'll say I almost have sympathy for the way that they're going to win it this year in terms of it being in an empty ground and stuff. But it's just unfortunate for them. But I'm sure with the way that they bounce back from a Champions League final, they'll probably use that for motivation for next year to go again and win it. I don't want to say properly because they've deserved it, but sort of under normal circumstances so they can actually enjoy it like a normal league title. Because this year it won't be celebrated like a normal league title. It will be sort of behind closed doors, and which, yeah, it's unfortunate for them, but at the end of the day, it's a situation we're in.
Yeah, I think you're right. Hopefully we'll never have to go through this again. Neil, your views on it?
Yeah, I think just to follow on from what Doug said as well regarding like Ranieri being so likable, I think the same things that are likable about Ranieri are the same things that are likable about Klopp. The fact that he's brought in players like, he hasn't, but from what I heard, when he brought in Mane, when he brought in Wijnaldum, when he brought in Salah, nobody was expecting them to be like a world-class beating team, but he's just took them on that next level. And the fact they've planned for this for the long term has been, you kind of have to admire that. And it's something since we've won the league, there's not a team that's deserved it more. We've seen, for example, when Man City took it off you guys last year, that the celebrations wasn't the same. It wasn't buying the league. It was like due to effort and work ethic, and the fact that you lost it last season has made it a better story overall for you to win it this time. So yeah, I think it's going. You guys are going to finish first, and congrats to you.
Thank you.
Oh, that's nice of you.
Yeah, somebody has to be in this one, James.
So going back to the rest of the positions, so I'd like you guys to predict first to sixth. And I'm going to start with you.
Oh, just a nice easy one there. So second, I think Man City have all got back rounded up. Third, I'm going to go Leicester. I hope we can hold on. Fourth, Chelsea. Fifth, United. And sixth, do I say Sheffield United? Yeah, go on. Yeah, Sheffield United, because I've really enjoyed watching them this season. They don't play good football at times, but they're just absolutely brilliant in the way that they put absolutely everything into it and play for Chris Wilder.
Yeah, I think you're right. Doug, your predictions?
City second, Leicester third, Manchester United fourth, Chelsea fifth, Sheffield United sixth. The reason I've said Chelsea fifth, they've still got to play Manchester City and Liverpool, whereas Manchester United's only hard games, I think, in their run-in is you guys on the final day of the season and Spurs away, I think. And I still think they've got to play Sheffield United. But any game after that, I think, is winnable. So that's the only reason I put Man United fourth.
Okay. Neil?
So I'd pretty much agree with everybody. So Liverpool first, Man City second, Leicester third, Chelsea fourth. I would quite like to see Man United drop out of the top six, and I'd like to see Sheffield and Wolves come into that, just for the fact that I think they're actually overall a better team and they've been more consistent over the entire year than Man United. Obviously, they've spent the money. They've got Fernandes in. And yeah, I don't think it will happen, but I'm really hoping that Wolves will get fifth and then Sheffield will get 6th, and then Man United will drop out of the top 6.
That's controversial.
That's something else to me.
So for me, City second. Don't think anyone will catch him. Third, I'm going to say Chelsea. I think Chelsea will just beat us. I think we'll come fourth. Fifth, United. I think if Ole can get Fernandes and Pogba playing together, I think that's going to be a real midfield that everyone's going to battle with. If he can get them two playing together, I think they'll hit momentum, because just before the break, their momentum was so high. They were winning every game. They were winning every ball. Fernandes just seems to have changed the way they play. Might have been the player they were looking for. So I think they'll come fifth. Sixth, I think, same as Ant and Doug, Sheffield United. I think they deserve it. Hopefully they'll get there. It'd be great to see them in Europe as well. I saw this week that Man City have got their court case this week. So that'd be interesting. So if Man City lose that court case, then fifth will be up for grabs, won't it?
Yeah, I think I really hope that the authorities actually uphold the ban, because obviously, like, they found City guilty, but it's going to be very interesting because City will probably pay out for loads of lawyers for this court case, so going to make it interesting.
But will it come down to money at the end of the day?
Well, it's a good thing UEFA aren't corrupt, isn't it? So we can always rely on them, to be fair.
That's what I mean. Man City are going to get the best lawyers, but is it going to come down to money? Because let's look at the way UEFA and FIFA have awarded European Championships and World Cups. It's all been down to money at the end of the day. It's just a fine. We'll just say, okay, then we'll just fine you 5 million. We're done with it.
Like pocket change to them, isn't it?
That's what I mean. I'd like to think done fairly. I just want this court thing to be done fairly, and if they are guilty of what they've done, they are guilty. I think if they do get found guilty, I think a lot of clubs could well be investigated.
Yeah.
Because basically what they did, they got around the financial fair play by investing in their stadium, but investing more than it should have been. So we invest in our stadium, one stand of our stadium, and it's cost us 600 million. So financial fair play can't come against us because we've invested 600 million in the stadium. So it's ridiculous. But you can see, the thing I don't get about the whole thing is Man City have been found guilty of it, but all I see is Madrid, Barcelona, PSG can spend anything they want, and nothing ever gets done.
But then they bring in a lot more money than Man City do, don't they? Because they've got a much bigger fan base. So I think
we don't want the same thing to happen with the Premier League. The reason why you've got like Barcelona, Real Madrid, sure, where the best thing about the Premier League is that even the small teams can challenge. So we just don't want this to be the case where the big teams run away with it like they did, say, 10 odd years ago. So now there is more of an even playing field. Players like Jack Grealish, for example, will be more likely to stay at Aston Villa at the moment, for example. Before, I'd say 10 years ago, when Man United had Ronaldo and stuff, he'd want to play in that team and he'd probably move on and play for Man United. So I see it as a positive thing, because I do want, and with Leicester winning the league, obviously we've seen that anybody can do it now. So it's given the freedom to not always put the money first. Unfortunately, I think this will be widened just because of what's happening with the virus at the moment. Yeah,
I think you're right. So moving on, last thing I want to talk about was FA Cup. Obviously, the FA Cup's restarting. I saw somebody yesterday on Twitter saying that if Leicester beat Chelsea, they could finish third. I did point out it is a cup game and we're not allowed to take 3 points for it, which went down well. So FA Cup wise, predictions, Doug. Who do you think is going to win the cup? I think it's going to be a really strange cup, if I'm honest. If the FA Cup finals played at Wembley behind closed doors.
Yeah, it just doesn't bode well for me. I'm going to put a sneaky punt on Leicester. I think you've got a good squad. I think you could beat Chelsea. I actually think of the teams left in it. I know the Man City are still in it. I know Man United are still in it. But if one of them went out, I would say Leicester would be the favourites.
Yeah, we'll have you on it here again, Doug, with comments like that. So for me, I think our biggest hurdle is Chelsea. If we can beat Chelsea, then I think we'll win the cup. It's just getting past Chelsea. Lampard will have them firing on all cylinders. And also the team will be excited because of the signings that are coming. And that can affect the team as well. So for me, if we can beat Chelsea, I think we'll win. Neil?
I could say we'll have a good shot, but we've just lost so many in the last few years, or even just recently against Villa in the semi-finals. Like, I just can't see. I could see us trying to concentrate on getting Champions League football. That's the most important thing. I know Roger said to come here and try and get a cup and get into Europe. But at the same time, I think what is more important for the club in the long term, with obviously all this Corona stuff going on.
Yeah.
No, I keep mentioning it at the moment, but the most important thing is to secure Champions League for next season, and that will be the priority for us. If we'd sacrifice that to get third for a Chelsea side. As you said, they're going to be firing, they're going to be right up for this kind of game. So I think overall, I don't know if we'll get very far in it, but my honest hopes is that I just want that Champions League football again. And it's something that I think we should strive for, rather than going for something that's a bit more out there and a bit more might happen, might not, because it can go up as it can go down, just as we found out as a last-minute goal against Villa.
Okay. And what do you think?
It's a hard one to predict because there's still obviously a couple of decent teams in it with City, Chelsea, and then United as well. But I do think if we get past Chelsea, we've got a real chance of winning it. But it would just be the most Leicester thing to finally win the FA Cup behind closed doors, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think whoever wins it behind closed doors would be imagine as a player, you dream of playing in the FA Cup final, winning the FA Cup final. You dream of walking up them steps in front of everyone and getting the trophy. Now you're going to walk up them steps, and all you're going to hear is the clinking of studs as you're walking up the steps because you're else there. It just seems surreal, to be honest.
Have you drawn twice with Chelsea this season? I believe you drew 1-1 with them at Stamford Bridge, and it was 2-2 in the league game at King Power. Yeah.
So,
and we lost to them last year in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup at home. So I don't want to say history repeats itself, but we'll see. We'll see. Exactly.
But anyway, guys, it's been great having you all on. Me, Neil, and Ant are back next week. Doug, it's been a real pleasure having you on. I hope you'll come and join us again soon.
Yeah, absolute pleasure to come on, and I've really enjoyed this. So thank you for having me, James and Neil and Ant. Very, very, very good to speak to you all. So thank you very much.
No probs, and we'll talk to you all next week. Thanks, everyone.